Hey, welcome back. My name is Tracy. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my unboxing of the ArtStax Doors and Windows 2 and introducing walls, and we'll create ourselves a little project. And here's a still photo of the project we're going to be creating. So welcome, and I wanted to just show you the two new packs from ArtStax. We've got the weathered walls and we've got the doors and windows too. The doors and windows one was so popular that ArtStax made a second series. So let's take a look at those first, and I like to open these from the top because those sticky things just really get annoying on the bottom. So let's just grab some scissors and carefully cut away at this cellophane. See if I can do this. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, no, let's say no to sticky stuff. And we'll get these pulled out. And so what you get is a series of pretty good sized doors. Like those are full card front size, even bigger because these are Australian paper sizes. Here we've got some windows, some awnings, little flowers, enough to build a scene, and instructions on how to use it here. And next we've got a transparency with some really neat windows in it that are useful for junk journals, regular journals, scrapbook pages, whatever it is that you do. So a lot of this stuff is designed around art journaling. And so, it's rather large, but we can make things work on our cards. And here's a set of windows that you can cut out and glue on in certain ways, and there are instructions on there. And here's another like half page, trying to get this in order here, with this beautiful wall, and all this ivy and stuff like that. Really beautiful. And then a whole lot of really cool sentiments. So I really like that about the ArtStax, is a lot of times you get sentiments with them that you can cut out. Now, oftentimes I get also the digitals, and we're back to the front, so that I can print them out in any size that I need. But I did want to share with you the physical product. And these are the weathered walls. They are part of the core stacks, which also is the doors and windows. So they're, just so you know the difference, there's the artist series, there's the core stacks, there's other stacks too. You have to visit artstacks.com, I think / or artstacks.au. Anyway, I'll have it linked in the description below. I don't know, it's an Australian site, and but they do deliver here to the US, so just be aware of that. And I believe the UK as well. So there's one I already cut, or that maybe it was just a half sheet, but it's this corrugated paper, and it is actually corrugated, which is super cool. And I just love that rusty look, and we're going to be using that in a card today. And then here's kind of a messed up wall, and here's another messed up wall, which we like. We like our grungy walls. It's kind of, vintage antique looking. It looks like stucco. And then here's the front of like a little cabin or shack and just some regular wood. And then here's this sheet with all kinds of little ephemera that you can cut out and use. I love it. I love the colors on it. This is totally me right here. So we're going to use this door as well. See if I can pick these things up. And one thing I missed showing you was the transparent, or the rice paper print, but I'll show it briefly. It's basically just a wall textures. Very cool too, because then when you glue it down, you can't really see it. So I'm going to cut this one down, and I'm just kind of eyeballing. I'm not doing any specific measuring, just kind of eyeballing the portions that I want of this piece. I am going to make a 5x7 card, and I'll save that little window for another project. And I'm not sure which one I'll use out of the ephemera, but I'll use one of them anyway. And then I'm going to go ahead and just edge the sides of this to, have a consistent look throughout. And I'm just using some vintage photo. It's kind of my go-to with sort of warm browns. And then let's go ahead and grab a stencil here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to crackle this up, but I don't want white crackle. I want colored crackle. So I'm going to find, first I'm going to mask off the door because I don't want any on the door. And I'm just using some mint tape to do that, just to make sure I don't accidentally get some on there, because, you know, you can be careful, but yeah. And I'm not looking for a full look. I'm just looking for, you know, kind of a mixed media look. So I'm going to grab my crackle paste, and I'm also going to grab some paint. And the paint I'm using is Tim Holtz Distress Paint. You can use any paint you want. And I want to say that I used, what is that forest green one? Rustic Wilderness. There we go. And so you can always tint your crackle paste. But this is opaque crackle paste. The transparent will tint as well, but I prefer the opaque. I feel like it crackles better. I could be wrong, maybe because I can see it better. There's always that. So I just mix it up with my palette knife. Make sure that it's good and mixed. Doesn't have to be perfect either if you don't want it to. And then I'll just use what I have here and just kind of scrape it through my stencil. And see, now I don't have to be careful of that door. And let's just kind of wipe this off a little bit and move everything aside so I don't get muck everywhere. And I just flip the stencil over to get to the other side so I don't have to do too much cleaning. And that's all the stenciling I'm going to do. We're going to let this dry, and it's dry. Now there's the sheet I forgot to show you of the rice paper. I didn't see it because it's so transparent. So I've got all my little pieces here. I'm going to use this corrugated piece. And then I've got just some fodder. And I've got my sentiments. And the fodder is just basically, you know, leftover stuff from other stuff I cut out. I'm going to get out my big size trimmer here because I'm going to cut myself a 5x7 card base. So we're going to cut the craft card base I'm going to use. And we're going to cut that down to 10 by 7. I always get that mixed up. I can't tell you how many pieces of paper I have had to start over on because I get that mixed up. 10 by 7. And that way when we fold it in half, it's going to be a 5x7. And then I'll go ahead and use my favorite scoring tool, which this is a Stampin' Up! Cut and score tool, and go ahead and score that down the 5-inch mark, and go ahead and just fold it in half like you do any other card. Nothing new here. Burnish it down, and now we'll start to put things together here. So I'm going to start out and make sure my card's nice and flat first of all. I'm going to start out with my corrugated piece, and I need to trim some off, so I just kind of did a little scratch mark where I want to trim it. And it looks like we're going about 4 3/4, and it's not quite 7 inches high, but that's okay. And I decided to go a little bit smaller with it so that I kind of have an even border. But with a mixed media card like this, I never feel like I have to have even borders. I feel like it just goes where it goes. So very freeing. There's no, you know, specific formula. What looks good, aesthetically pleasing to your eye is what works. All right, now I'm going to add some liquid glue down to this corrugated piece. I love this. I could have a ton of this. I know that they used to make crimpers that you could do this to your paper, but I don't have one, and I don't have an embossing folder that does that quite that either. And then I'm going to go ahead and decide where I'm going to put my next pieces. And what I have there is just a piece of torn dictionary page. But I wanted the word door, so, you know, I did kind of specifically look through my dictionary. And I have a couple of, like, old paperback type dictionaries. I specifically looked for the word door so that it would be on the image. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this side off, the right side, because I don't want it to hide my corrugated paper there. There we go. Yeah, I want that to show. So it's going to be showing on the bottom and on the right-hand side. So I'll go ahead and glue this down. And I'll get that straight up over there in that corner there so I get as maximal amount of that corrugated paper. Now I could have cut it down and maybe laid it on top, but that's not how I did it because it isn't. So then I'm just going to take all this fodder that I've torn and inked or not inked and kind of just collage it on here. And let's just tear off the ends here. We'll give it a little bit of dirt. That's what I call it. Just a little bit of ink edging. And we'll tear the edges of that just to kind of make it look a little bit more organic. And I'm not going to do any edging on this dark green piece. I just happen to love this dark green paper, and I couldn't tell you where I got it. It might be a Brutus Monroe paper. I don't know. I take my paper out and I stack it somewhere. I'm not on any kind of design teams that require me to know what paper I'm using. So I don't typically leave it in the little small packaging because, I buy it in like 10 packs and stuff like that, 10 pieces of paper in the pack when it's on sale. So I'm just kind of just layering this stuff on here. No real rhyme or reason other than what looks good to my eye and trying to create a balance. So I'm going to pop up that 18. I don't know why I chose that number, except for my grandson turned 18, so, but I never remember to send the card. I'm really bad about sending my cards. Okay, I like it right there. And again, I couldn't give you any reasoning other than that's just how my eye likes it. And I decide I want to bring some more of that green in. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount these on some of that green paper. Let's grab a piece of that, some of the scrap, and then what I like to do is just kind of glue them down and then trim them off. That way I know I got all even edges because Lord knows I can't get anything straight. Let me just wipe off that excess glue. That's the benefit of wearing gloves, I don't know, if I wipe it off with my regular fingers, I end up getting dirt everywhere. But if I do it with my gloves, I don't. And I'm not too worried about the glue because it's going to dry clear. But then I'll go ahead and trim these sentiments off of here. So don't forget, if you are in the US, you can get the digital versions of these and print them yourself, which, like I said, for me is really handy because I can get them to any size that I want. And I use a Windows photo viewer, and a lot of our newer versions of Windows don't have that option. You have to actually make a change to the registry in your computer to make it work. But I like it because you can do like 2 5x7s or 4 3x5s or whatever on your paper, 9 wallet images, stuff like that. So I like to do that, and especially with these kinds of things, because sometimes I like my sentiments a lot smaller, or maybe I just want the door of that, and I don't. Now you can print the corrugated paper, but you're not going to get that actual bumpiness that you have there in the physical stack. I was pretty excited about that. Somebody's going to have to tell me where I can find one of those paper crimpers. I might just go crazy. And I'm popping these up, just deciding where I'm going to put them. And don't fight the doors you are led to. Take a deep breath and go in. So that's a nice encouraging statement. And, for somebody that's turning 18, going to college, or in my grandson's case, going into the military, that's a whole new door from living at home with his parents. There we go. And we'll get this. Now I put glue on these too because, it gives me just a tiny bit of wiggle room. And this is art glitter glue, so it's not a whole lot of wiggle room compared to like Bearly Arts or my PVA glue that I typically use. But there's the card all finished. I hope you like it. Have a great day. Bye-bye.